What a gwan, peeps, what a gwan. It's Valerie's Naturals Oracles. And yes, today it's all about the Emperor. If you're here and you're not quite sure what's going on here, I call this tarot card interpretations. And I'm going through each and every tarot card in the deck. I'm at number 4 today, which is the Emperor. Now, the first thing you've got to know about the Emperor, he is the counterpart to the Empress, which I did last week. So I've actually got a playlist going for these. So go and have a look. I've started from the 0, which is the Fool, and I'm working my way up. But what do we know about the Emperor? Well, I can give you my interpretation. But before I do, if you're not subscribed yet, why not? Hit the subscribe button and the alert bell so you know when I'm going to do another video. And just to let you know, I've actually done leaflets that actually go with this series of cards, this whole playlist. So for every week I put out one of these videos, there is a basic leaflet that just gives you introduction and a general information about the card. But I've also got an extended, which is on my Patreon, which goes through all of the 5. For example, it will tell you about how this card relates to health, how it relates to finance, how it relates to love, how it relates to family, spirituality. And I'm even giving the reversals as well to go with the cards. But that's only for Patreons. So for the price of a coffee, come and join us on Patreon. I do extra videos. I do daily spiritual messages. You know, there's a lot of information about the twin flame soulmate journey, about awakening, what you should expect with your awakening, all sorts of nonsense. But anyway, come and join me over there for extra content if you're into all that. You know, because my readings, as you know, I don't know if if you're new, then you don't know, but my readings are usually to do with the twin flame soulmate situation, okay, and what is going on with that. And a lot of it is to do with what is currently going on right now. I get downloads from spirit just like some other tarot readers, but I just thought it was important that people understand what these cards are all about, and I have my interpretation. So come and join me, but if nothing else, so that I can receive your energy, like, comment and subscribe. So anyway, let's get on with this. So the first thing you know, as I said, the Emperor is the counterpart to the Empress. But immediately when you look at this card, you see somebody who's trying to elude power. It's power, it's prestige, it's somebody who's what I call the boss man. But it could even be a female in her masculine energy. Do you know what I mean? But this says to me, how I interpret this card, I interpret in 2 ways. Either it's somebody who's bossing up, somebody who is a boss, who takes charge, who has authority. And you see how his scepter is actually pointing to the heavens? It's like, as above, so below. You know, it's a take charge kind of guy. But you know what? With my readings, sometimes the way this card comes out a lot of the time, a lot of it can be about control. And this is what I get from this card sometimes, depending on the tarot deck as well. So that's why when I do these interpretations, I like to show you different decks, because they do show the Emperor in different lights. For example, I've got here a set of cards, which is from the Throff Tarot. And it's called the Urban Tarot, but it is based on the Throff system of cards. And it's depicting the Emperor in a completely different stance. But if you look at this, they're in their royal red. You know, they're surrounded by gold. They're surrounded by light. They have a crown on. Do you know what I mean? These things you take into consideration. He's got like 2 sheeps on his chair. It's almost like he's protecting. He's being protective. But what I also get from this is sometimes it's control. I get a lot of control from this card. I don't know why. But anyway, let's look at some other decks and you'll see what I mean by the differences and what the Emperor looks like, okay? So that was, as you know, the Rider-Waite. And I've got the little tiny tin version, but I've got the giant version. I haven't got in between. I've got either the tiny one or I've got the giant one. I haven't got the in-between one. Maybe I should get the in-between because I do love these cards and I know the story behind the Rider-Waite system. because it was a lady that was impoverished and she died penniless and with an unmarked grave, and it was actually a black woman. But I'm not going there now. So anyway, let's show you this another deck. So I've got here the Tarot de la Nuit. I can't pronounce it. Tell me how to pronounce that, people. But this is the Emperor in this deck. Now, isn't that vastly different from that one? This one looks like, I am going to war for you, baby. I ain't taking no prisoners. He looks like kind of the Viking type of person, doesn't he? Look at this picture. Isn't he a hunk? Woohoo! Yeah, it is like, this is the kind of emperor that you want. He's going to be masculine. He's going to be seriously masculine. He's going to be in his dominant energy. He's going to be the take charge guy. But do you see the moon in this picture? See, I like to describe these pictures as well because it helps with the intuitive nature of picking up what's going on in the cards. See, you see the moon shining on him. It's almost like he's being guided by the light. Even though it's in the dark, do you know what I mean? He's got this red and black shield, and it's kind of like he's very butch, isn't he? But yeah, I could keep going with that card. I could sit here with this card for a whole hour, so I'm not going to. But the next deck I've got, which I'm going to show you, is vastly different again, and their emperor is even more different, is the Santa Merde. I love these cards. I mean, if you read the history behind them, you're going to have to excuse that because I've got the window open. It's quite warm here today. But if you read the history of this, because I like to read the history, is what it gives you with these cards. It's all about it's the Mexican or Spanish way of looking at death, and they don't look as death as a bad thing. And the artist that did this card, and look at this emperor. All of the actual cards are skeletons, and this emperor in particular. You see this? Look at this. Do you see what I mean by control, depending on what deck you pick up? Because this one's literally got, it's, what do you call these guns? Automatic. He ain't messing about. Do you see what I mean by the control thing? Do you see this? See, that kind of thing is like someone's trapping you. It's a control. They've got their gun like they're forcing something. And look, they've got their treasure at their side there. Do you see what I mean? They're complete. I mean, look at this one. He's a take charge guy, protective. But this one is more like, I have control. You're not getting my money. Do you know what I mean? It's like they're completely different, aren't they? And the last one, which is one of my favorite decks, and this one is actually the Urban Tarot, okay? And it's actually based on the Thoth system. But look at this emperor now. This is an emperor that's angry. Do you see his, like, it's almost like depicted as, look at that face. Do you see what I mean? It's like he's got his fist folded. It's like, I am in control or nobody else is getting anywhere. But do you see the man and woman there? And it's like, it's almost like they're bound together. It's like this emperor in this deck. You see, it's because these ones are all Rider Waite, really. But this Thoth one is completely different. Do you see what I mean? It's like, it's my way or the highway. It's a complete control freak. And look what's going on around him. It's like chaos. Because it's like, you know, he's not getting his own way. This is what I feel about this card. See, I could talk about this card forever as well. But just to depict what the difference is in all these cards, it's interesting, isn't it? It's interesting. I mean, this is the original Rider Waite. There were other systems that were earlier than the Rider Waite, but this is the one that everybody turns to. It's the one that actually gives, it kind of plays on your imagination, doesn't it? But then when you get ones like this, it's just think, woohoo! But anyway, I'm going to read you the general book version of what the Emperor is. Okay, and I guess mine is kind of vastly different, but I do know the meanings and it has to fit into whatever you're actually, you know, it depends on the cards around it as well. But because of the type of readings I do, it just come out as somebody who is either going to be a boss bitch, the boss man, or they're going to be like a controlling person. But the Emperor's not only about that. The Emperor is about, you know, yeah, he's a take charge kind of guy. He's an authority figure. He's the matriarch of the family. He's the father. He's the elder statesman, but he's also the person that is the stable, reliable one. Normally, he's the one that is the take charge guy, and he can be very logical when he needs to be, and this is what the emperor is. But in the reverse, oh my goodness, it is just a power struggle with that person. The emperor in reverse is just so negative. I mean, if you have an emperor in reverse, just imagine back in the day. See, what you have to remember with these cards is back in the day, these cards depicted characters. Now, the emperor literally was an emperor and the empress was literally an empress. When you get the high priestess and the hierophant, they were just underneath these people. And then you had the peasants, like the peasants are like the suit cards, and then you've got the court cards where the courtiers were, which is the king of queens and the jacks and the knights. They were all courtiers, but the emperor and the empress were the head of everybody, even the hierophant so this is what you have to remember as well. This is somebody who's higher up in the hierarchy. So I'm going to stop rambling now. Because I could go into complete history, because I actually studied this as part of one of my photography projects at college. One of my projects was about tarot, and I did the whole history of tarot, and it goes back to the 14th century if you didn't know. So yeah, I went deep, and I've got books here about where it started from and how it went about. And they say it was the Egyptians, and some say it was the Gypsies, and some say it was like. But you know what? It was the 14th century where it was actually recorded. So anyway, I'm going to stop it now and give you some information about the general interpretation of the emperor. So it says here, when the emperor card appears in a reading, it is a sign of financial stability, ambition, authority, and achievement. You need to keep a calm head at this time, make decisions based on facts, and not be overly influenced by emotions. Do you see what I mean? They have to come from their logic. But anyway, this is a powerful card and a wonderful omen for business and career matters, as it shows great progress. Well placed, this card suggests you are in a powerful position to achieve your goals. In relationships, it can also remind us to look at the situation in a more rational manner and not to be overly emotional regarding issues, to look at things with a clear head, the logic, in order to achieve successful results and financial stability for the family. It can also represent a powerful male influence, and that's where the control bit comes in, people. I hope you enjoyed that, and don't forget that I've got leaflets accompanying this. I'm going to link the basic below. Anybody can have it. Anybody at all can have that one, but there is an extended one which goes into all the subjects, and it goes into reversals as well. But it's good to have a general point, and to actually, because what I've done is actually put bits in there where you can actually write. I've put lines in there so you can write your own experiences of the card, what the card means to you, what experience it has for you, and etc., etc. So if you haven't subscribed yet, why not? Hit the subscribe button and the alert bell so you know when I'm going to do another video. Because as you can tell, I actually enjoy doing these and getting different cards out and seeing what the same cards do in different decks. Because it's a huge difference. I mean, I'm going to do that again. Look, there is the Rider-Waite. There is another version of the Rider-Waite, and there is a third version of the Rider-Waite, but this is the Throth Tarot. Maybe I should get the Lascavo out as well one day. But yes, those are the three, and there's the Marcel system as well. I mean, we could keep going, but I think the Marcel is one of the older ones, But anyway, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to love you and leave you and say Nam Myoho Renge Kyo till next time. And next week will be who? We'll find out. Take care.